YouTube now. So we're live here now. All right, y'all. What up, y'all? There it is. Live on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Ooh. Ness on the West. DJ Dub, Andrea, what's up, y'all? We live. Let me see what Curtis is talking about. Let's say Curtis. Scrap was good. What do you think about this statement? Starting with ATL Grace. Framed. Good morning, Lenora, Lady Kiki. What's up, y'all? Yo, I know what y'all saying, man. Scrap. Yeah, man. We're gonna talk about that jersey because I know a lot of people didn't know. You know, I know a lot of people are ill-informed when it comes to that. And it's important. You know what I mean? It's very important in the grand scheme of things. But that's, you know, that's part of it. So for everybody on Instagram right now and Facebook and other stations that I'm broadcasting on, let me see. So I posted a video. For those of you who haven't watched it, for those of you who are not on my TikTok, I posted a very informative video conversation. Can we dedicate a session later today to that? You want to do it later? You know what I'm saying? She like, do it later. You must be busy right now, Jersey. Jersey said, don't do it now, y'all. She said, wait on that. Because that is a very, it's one of those conversations that needs to happen. Yeah, delete that message. I just jumped on my what's the name? It got bots. Jumping on. All right. So yeah, just wanted to make sure everyone gets to join. Yeah, man. If you have not watched it, if you're on my TikTok, you're on my Instagram, go to my TikTok right now. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anything, go to my TikTok, which is the same as my name, Dwight_Scrap_Reynolds, and go watch that Martin Luther King video real quick. It's a video I posted. You'll just see my face on it, but the audio is a must listen. How do you promo it? I don't know how you promo it, Jersey. I don't even know how to do that. But yeah, I think that you guys should do that. What up, Zoe? You guys should get over to my TikTok channel. I want y'all to watch or listen to. You really want to be listening to that video because I know a lot of you are ill-informed. You have no idea what really went down with Martin Luther King, and it's important. I see you have that hair wrap up tight so those braids stay wonder. Hey, I gotta be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying. I'm on a schedule with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a schedule with how often I get it done. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Okay. So Jersey, you got to put me up on game. When you say promo it, like put out a banner and say, hey, tonight at such and such a time, we're going to talk about such and such. Yo, Zoe. So I got the audio because I got the audio to the doctor who's giving the explanation on what really happened with Dr. Martin Luther King. What up, Ara? Hey, beautiful. What up, Mr. Canada? What up, everybody showing up on my IG right now? If you're on my live on YouTube, man, let me know you're in the building. Okay, so I'll do that. I'm going to schedule. I very rarely schedule stuff. I used to do it a lot in the beginning, so I'll do that. I will schedule a conversation to talk about, some truths, so you all can really get a grasp on it. I was out yesterday and I showed this girl. I was at Panera and I showed this girl the video. Beautifully Broken said, "You're my favorite live to watch on TikTok." Oh man, thank you so much. That's the greatest compliment you can give anybody, whoever goes live or whatever. That's the greatest compliment. Thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause. Yeah, give yourself a round of applause. So listen, Jersey loves for me to go deep, you know what I'm saying? And give y'all the real sauce. And this conversation, when you hear it, is going to be mind altering. Meaning, if you thought you knew just how okay, cool, let's figure it out, man. I'm here all weekend. So you need to fall through anyway, just so I can play you these joints live or whatever, so you can hear them in person. But there is many times people like me are called theorists. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, coffee, yeah, TikTok and YouTube is a lot better to watch me live on, which I'm gonna have to rethink going live on Instagram, and probably just use Instagram as a directional tool to let people know to come over to YouTube or come over to TikTok. But most times, man, there are places that I'm usually, the discussion about different things in life. I'm not afraid for people to call me or address me or look at me as a conspiracy theorist, and it comes with thinking outside of the box. It comes with thinking differently. It comes with challenging the narrative. It comes with not looking at things exactly the same way as everybody else. And it's not that I'm wired a little differently in that aspect, because I just look at things. When something smells funny, it probably is sour. You know what I'm saying? So I went and I checked out, I dig in the crates, I be listening and I be paying attention, and I've been fortunate enough to have great timing and to be in the right place at the right time. And so hearing this conversation is going to change your outlook on, if you already got a suspicious attitude towards just how sinister things can be and our government can be and the people in it, and then this is going to close the door on that. And I really wish, that more of our counterparts could be in for the conversation. No, they don't, Tuffy. They don't want any of us to think outside the box, because it's harder. I watched the movie, I don't know if it was on the flight back from Vegas, but I watched Divergent again. Keisha said, 7 weeks in and 9 pounds. I feel great. My husband has been doing it now for 3 days. Woo! Don't, girl. So listen, I watched Divergent, and Divergent was one of those things where the young lady was what they called an erudite or Aryan or something like that, right? Where she was, you're welcome, man. That's all I want is beautiful people inside and out. But she was, she was divergent, I'm sorry, which meant that she was predisposed to all of the different fashions, meaning her eyes were wide open. It meant that she was not subjected to what everybody else was easily succumbing to. She thought differently. She looked at things from a different perspective. Remember when they did the little tests on her? So they do those tests. What up, Red Baby? They do the tests on you, on us. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, sharing the room as I'm talking. I don't want to have to. I don't want to break from the conversation to have a commercial break to say. I don't want to have a commercial break to say hit the like button, hit the share button. hit the, help with the live goal, buy badges, super chat. I don't want to have to do any of that. I just want to focus on the conversation. So if you guys could just do some of those things that are really cool for people to do when you're on social media, that'd be super dope. But she was identified as somebody who thought outside of the box, and she was deemed a problem. And they try to mute those people and those voices or whatnot, because if you have someone who thinks outside of the box, they manage to maneuver differently. And if they maneuver differently and they don't go with the flock or they don't go with the group, they try to, because they can influence the group. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're all standing on the edge of the cliff and one person says, hey, I can jump to the other side, and people are like, no, man, you shouldn't be doing, no, you can't jump to the other side. And then they see you jump to the other side, they start realizing their own power. So the conversation about Dr. Martin Luther King is one of those conversations that has been swept underneath the rug. And so yesterday when I was at Panera, I took my phone out and I just did it because I felt like educating somebody. I don't know this girl from Adam, but I just knew that I wanted to enlighten her. And I played it for her. She was working as a cashier. I played it, and I saw the light. This was I want to say she was Asian, maybe. She might have been white, but Asian looking. But I played it, and you saw the light bulb go oh my God, go off in her eyes. You know what I'm saying? I think when you hear it, if you have not visited my TikTok page and watched it yet, you might want to do that. It's an investment in truth and in enlightenment. It's almost like taking the choosing between the red and the blue pill. And if the red pill is maintaining the knowledge that you have right now, then this is definitely the blue pill. Tuffy said, I have to lose 20 more pounds to hit 260 from 405. Woo! Good stuff. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Go ahead with your bad self. So every day you should be seeking that, right? Every day you should be seeking the opportunity to open up and expand your mind. And I think we do that on our live. I think that physically, absolutely physically, I know that we introduce things that aren't the norm, and that because we have benefits from it, we're more willing to share so that others can jump into the mix. You know what I'm saying? So other people can jump over that cliff or jump over that bridge, that broken bridge, right? More of you are communicating with your family and friends who are seeing the results that you're getting, and they're now more likely to participate. But that's also in mindset. So when people see and hear you thinking and speaking differently, it's going to rub off. That's my hope, is that you'll take these conversations so that they can rub off and more people can be quote unquote divergent. You know what I'm saying? What up, Tashi? What up, Key? I don't know if I spoke, but I want to make you, what up, Zena? Yeah, that's what's cool. She in the office. She said, just listen today. That's what's up. MK, that, to dive into specific fashions, Tuffy, there are things that we all understand are happening that are gonna be covert for quite a while. Meaning this, a lot of the laws, a lot of the things that are happening, even the presidents, they have clauses in their presidency and in the lawmaking process that they don't have to, historically, they don't have to discuss or release information until like 75 years after they're dead. You understand? That any of these sinister actions, that's why now you're hearing about all of this stuff from JFK and all those, if you go look, listen, they're slowly releasing material to educate you on the truth of the past, because contractually they have to release these sealed documents. And these sealed documents in our lifetime, we're going to see some of the craziness, because now we're getting the Hoover. There should be several presidents at this point where the information. What up, Mama Salinas? Welcome back. There should be several pieces of information available to us. Now it's about doing the research. Most people won't go out and search out those documents. They're available. There was one that was a hot topic about 5 years ago that came to light about their involvement, and I can't think of. I'll go back and find it. but there was some information that was like super top secret and it wasn't available until the last 10 years. There's going to be more of that coming in our lifetime. So what it is I think they set this up so that those that lived in those times who can give and be truth tellers will be gone and can't refute the information should they need to. That's why it's so important for us to continue to document our life. One of the things that all of these different controlling fashions look to do is to exploit your short-term memory. Oh wait, let me drink mine. I ain't drink mine yet. Cheers, coffee. Let's take it to the head. And Letitia, what's up? Hello, everyone. Woke up late today. Hopefully, no, we just started. I woke up late too. Woo. Cheers. Woo. What up, Ali? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Excuse me. Join me on TikTok. Whole nother different experience on TikTok and on YouTube. You can join me on either one of the two. Let me post my YouTube down here so everybody on Instagram. I just hate that Instagram is getting my Instagram folks get the short end of the conversation because y'all don't get none of this stuff, this good stuff. Yeah, she said slow dragging today. I mean, it's Friday, man. I'm still kind of shifting from being out in Vegas. I'm still trying to get over that 3 hour difference. But so now that information is the key, you don't want to be locked out. It's in the books. It's in these documents. Like if we don't, the sooner that we do the research, the sooner that we dive into it, the sooner that we can have a moment that's going to be addressed, like what in the video clip that I have with the audio, right? Like without that, right? Without being on top of it, which we have to because it's all happening during our lifetime. Like we've lived different parts of history, y'all. Y'all do understand that they're gonna talk about Trump's presidency in history. They're gonna talk about Biden's presidency in history. So with that, all these policies, they're gonna talk about Obama, all those different things. We've lived in it. So when we see those history books, when we see those documents getting released, we know the truth. Like we know the truth, and not only knowing the truth, but being able to exploit those differences and those things that have happened in our recent past as well as the distant past. Like there's so much stuff that has gone on. They've thrown at us. Excuse me. They've thrown a lot of stuff at us in the last 10 years, And if we can't articulate it, they had a crazy length of release of info on COVID. So I don't know what this is. Decline that. So long. Yeah. It's so long. It took. Yeah. Like the information that they released on that. I'm roaming again. I see you, homie. DJ Dub. The COVID thing is a small example of it. The COVID conversation, I'm talking about the paperwork from these companies. They did that so that you'll forget about it. Like nobody's talking about the statistics, and I mean, some people now are talking about the statistics because what we're finding is so many people are having a compromised existence because of it. Yeah, that's why he burnt all the books. I mean, that's the point, right? The point is to get rid of the history, because the history is, if the history is a mystery, then the future is for those who are in control. Like if we lose track of what the design is or the designers of something, then they can get away with it time and time again. And we have not held anybody accountable. At this point, nobody is responsible for anything. Especially for, as in the black community, nobody's at fault but us. That's the conversation they're having. And they've been having that conversation ever since ever since we let the government into our life. What up, Ty? You know what I mean? I'm well. Thanks for asking. How you doing? Um, yeah. No, nobody thinks about the hidden data. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares until, you know what I'm saying? Like until somebody else cares. And that's the thing. I think that if more of us cared, then we can have these conversations more often because we all on it. But we got to take the conversation past the point of this podcast. We got to take it to a place where we're sharing it with others so that they can dive in as well. Yeah, so when it comes to knowledge, some of us are okay with being locked out of it. Some people are okay with moving around in their naivety because it's comfortable. Man, I don't want to hear that. Nah, man, I don't care to know about that. And that's the part that is the most disrespectful to history and our ancestors. It's the most disrespectful piece to those people who have lost their lives, for those people who have sacrificed. That's what's missing from this group now, like from our generation, and a little bit from the generation above before us, is sacrifice. They in our last generation, our parents, they had people who laid it all out on the line. And again, going back to the topic, the very first topic of the week, which was Kanye West, I feel like we have people like that, and as well as a few others who have laid their lives in front of the whole world as examples of fighters. Now, continuing with this week's array of conversation, we take a person like George Floyd and give him 3 funerals, and there was nothing in as a martyr that should have warranted that. Like, as a community, I don't think we would have upheld that. I don't think that would have been our thing. I don't think we would have been like, hey man, George Floyd should be exalted. I think we would have looked at it and said, what the hell are we doing? What up, Angela? I think that's part. We are, Tashi. Remember at the top of the week, you know, we had several great topics this week. One was the Kanye West thing. We talked about consistency, but consistency went hand in hand with sacrifice. And we made George Floyd to look like he sacrificed his life for what? Like there was no mission behind what he did. There was nothing that made sense about any of that to memorialize this man with 3 funerals. Like I can't get away from that. Who paid for these funerals? Who said that this was what we wanted to use to represent black people? Like when you think about the conversation that Kanye West is having and he's defending, you say to yourself, why are we talking about this? I mean, for lack of a better word at this point, this, yeah, I know, broken, yep. Talk about this drug addict and counterfeiter. So in that, you know, if he made a sacrifice, he sold his soul for his family and nothing else. And if I was knowing that I was going to die, I'd be high and drunk too. What up, Mary? I'd be high and drunk too. Yeah, Ara, you on there now. I see you. She said this is better. Yeah, it's absolutely better, man. You get everything. Hey, with your bad self. See, now you get it all. See, honestly, I can tell you if you're on Instagram, you got to rewind the tape and join us over here on YouTube or TikTok, because Instagram right now,
it don't make no motherfucking sense.
No, not at all. So when we think about that, what up, Enough? What up, Angela? My champion's in the building. I see you with your subscription badges, looking all good. What up, Clint? So yeah, when I think about that, there's no way we should have martyred George Floyd. And based off the conversation that Kanye West is having, it's the same thing. There's no way, shape or form, that we should be excited or defending or any of that, because he did not warrant 3 funerals. And you're right, Broken. So a lot of you guys have not heard the name. What up, Clint? Clint joined me on YouTube as well. Yeah, that's what's up. A lot of you have not heard the name George Soros. If you haven't, you have to dig in the crates and do some things, because some of these people are hiding in plain sight, that are pulling the strings on not only America but on our community. They exploited that situation big time. There's no way. Like, I really, really want y'all to understand. There's no way someone who did nothing for or prior to or anything like that it should be a part of it. Angela, did you just get a subscription? Look at you, girl. Let me see. Let me find out. Yeah, my fault. Shout out to Angela, who got her subscription badge today. Woohoo! Yeah. With your bad self. Tashi too? Yeah, that's what's up, y'all. I see y'all. We moving on up. Subscription goal getting right. I appreciate y'all on this amazing Friday. We've had a really, really informative week. And I'm kind of recapping a little bit of it now. We talked about talking about the fentanyl, and I read y'all the document. Like, I don't know how his family's gonna sue when the first autopsy it said it. The first autopsy of his body said he had fentanyl and methamphetamine as well as weed. So now let's think about this. If somebody approached you, right? And maybe I don't know how they would have this conversation or who would agree to some craziness like this. But if you knew you was going to, I can't even put that in the perspective that way. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The fact that he was breathing when he got put into the ambulance made me really believe that. And y'all might not, you know. I can stand alone on this until I figure out more, but I thought he was still alive even after the fact. When they had 3 funerals for him, all closed caskets, all that told me was he's somewhere walking around. He's somewhere just got a facelift and he got a boatload of money. Like, he's somewhere being relishing that he was the catalyst for this event. What up, Royal? You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to believe that these people who have been put in these positions aren't walking around looking at the world like, what? Like, if these aren't false flags, I don't know what are. I don't know what they are then, because there's no way the events that happen after this guy has his neck or whatever, a knee on his back, neck, or whatever, what sweetness. There's no way that the celebration of his life outside of his family is as big as it is. No one cares that much for the stranger that way. Eric Garner didn't get a parade. Philando Castile didn't get a parade. Sandra Bland, she got a backhand slap of a law. You know what I'm saying? She got a backhand slap of a decree or whatnot. But think about it, man. What up, Turbo? There's no way that those events should have went that way, and the way that it catapulted around the world could only be done by somebody who had the resources to do it. Think about it. We're talking about a media blast outside of America that caught on fire so quick that they had established marches set and ready to go. Beautifully broken. Oh! Beautifully broken. Subscribe. Appreciate you. Yeah. So when I think about it, it just doesn't add up, and that's why we talk about it. And I think that you know what I'm saying? Especially a man of color. How is it that this man, Desmond Tutu, absolutely, I absolutely understand the reverence Desmond Tutu got for his life and his death. Martin Luther King, I understand the reverence that he got for his life and his death. Malcolm X, I understand. Nat Turner, I understand. All these people, I completely understand why they got and why they continue to get the reverence they get. Rodney King, not so much, but I understand what he did for the community. He exploited what is still being exploited today. That's the greatest challenge I have, is that even in his Even in Rodney King's contribution, we do not see, I do not see how we've adjusted or made a change from that. I think how long he had his knee on his neck played a part. I think it was, as far as the outrage, Red, I think, yes, there was outrage for not only how long he was on his neck, but if you saw how he was positioned, his hand was in his pocket. What up, Angela? What up, Nadine? His hand was in his pocket as he rested on his neck and shoulders. But even then, we saw Philando Castile get shot, bleed out in his car, and he didn't get that kind of reverence. Philando Castile was doing everything right. When if you look at the George Floyd situation, you can say he was doing everything wrong. What's the difference? The difference is Philando Castile was not on drugs. He was an upstanding black citizen. He was doing everything he was supposed to do. Yet, he wasn't the spokesman or the role model or the poster for Black Lives Matter. If we're gonna call George Floyd that, he's the poster boy for Black Lives Matter. But he was high on drugs. He had presented the counterfeit money, and I just can't get away from the fact that this George Floyd, if y'all watch the video, I watched the police cam. What up, Chocolate Butterfly? If you watch it, you'll understand this is what happened. And it's just the beginning. I don't want to dive into it fully. Yeah. Good afternoon. How calm the cop was taking George Floyd like the cops were wrong. Exactly. But if you go back to the beginning of the exchange, do you know George Floyd's car was around the corner, so on the back side of on the side of the store, and he could have driven away because no one was contesting him leaving. The cops walked into the store, was met halfway by the store owner who was packing a Glock via the police video. George Floyd could have left the scene had the store owner really been causing a problem. But if the store owner truly believed George Floyd was wrong, guess what would have happened? He would have pulled out that Glock and said, "You ain't going nowhere. You need to stay here till the cops get here." That's the first part of it that I think of when you think about logically. You say, well, was he being detained by the store? Nope. He chose to sit there and wait for what? He wasn't waiting on the cops, because people who are waiting on the cops actually look out to see if the cops are coming. He didn't do that. He was sitting in the car arguing with the lady. So I'm just saying, dissect the beginning of the interaction. That should help you understand how off this is. And if you watch, the police come in, guess what they don't do? Guess what they don't do? Anything. They don't do any investigative work. Usually when the police arrive on the scene, they go and talk to the person who's having the problem. They did that. They walked in. But in this case, the problem was a counterfeit $20 bill. What should they have done before they went and addressed George Floyd? They should have tested the $20 bill. To this day, not one person on this live, not one person no person within my earshot can tell me if George Floyd had a counterfeit $20 bill. Nobody can tell me whether he had a $20 bill or not. Nobody. Yep, it's staged. It's publicized and it's staged. Everything that's, because they want you standing so close to the elephant that you can't stand back and see that it's an elephant. Think about it, man. If y'all ever look at that, if y'all ever look at any of those tapes, man, you got to look at it from the police point of view, and then there's a couple other camera views. But they never, ever take the $20 bill from the store. They go in and the store owner walks them out just the point where George Floyd is at. Yep, they asked no questions. It's like they all knew what to do. Everybody had their role. And that's that. They go up to his car. They tap on the window with the long police flashlight. Tell me, y'all, does that sound like police procedure to come up with an attitude already? We already know if they're not knocking on your window with their hand, or if they're not doing, hey, roll your window down. They knocked on his window with the flashlight, then took a step back, pulled out their Glocks, and had him under gunpoint. In less than 1 minute, he was under gunpoint. He was on the other end of a Glock without any question as to what and why. Because if you remember, if you think about this, there's no way the store owner could have confronted him, because at that point he had an opportunity to a flight. He could get out of there. If the store owner said, "Yo, man, I'm gonna hold on to this $20 bill, man. This stuff fake. Give me back the merchandise." We don't even know what he was buying. It don't say what he went in to buy, or if he bought it, or if he didn't buy anything, and the store owner kept the 20. Where's the issue? Unless he had passed $20 bills there before, but y'all ain't heard no conversation like that, right? You have not heard a conversation where he was continuously passing $20 bills. Yep, Angela. I like that. Angela's bringing into play that. So I'll shift there with you, Angela. Let me read Angela's comment. Angela said, just like Will Smith and Chris Rock situation was from an old movie, literally word for word and action for action. So let me dive in there with y'all so y'all can understand what's going on here. And while I do that, make sure y'all hitting the like button and sharing and whatnot. If you want to, you can add to the live goals. You can buy badges on Instagram. You can gift on TikTok or Cash App, and the same with on YouTube and those other places. You can super chat, super like, and do those kind of things. But listen to that. Let's think about this. Let's break down the Will Smith thing, because again, those are the things that where if it doesn't make sense, then we got to examine it. So Will Smith is laughing in the audience with his wife about a joke about his wife, and until he didn't. Now there is a old. And I'm sure all of you have seen it. There's an old clip of that's about 10 years earlier, or 6 to 10 years earlier, where this reenactment was almost spot on from the onset. Don't be talking about my wife or whatever. Patrick, what's happening? There was, from the beginning of Will Smith's response and his actions, it's the same as this movie clip. Now, I am under the belief that when entertainers do that, there's somebody that they owe a price to. Somebody has a price tag on their success, and this is how you pay it back. We saw Martin have an episode. They tried to get Cat Williams with it. You see Dave Chappelle took an exit from the scene. There's a cost. There's a cost to success that you have to pay. I'm sorry. But we've seen it way too often that these highly intelligent people have a moment and lapse in judgment, and it's in plain sight that they are reenacting, or they're doing something detrimental to their career that you never ever would have. Will Smith has been the poster boy for black success up until certain things started winding up. So it's never instant, man. And this is why I be concerned for my homie. You know what I'm saying? There's certain instances, if y'all haven't watched how it works, right? First, they report about little things going on in these people's background. They don't go straight in. They put the little things in there. Always remember that the devil likes to entertain anyone that's interested. That's right. So they do something. Nah, I haven't. You know what I'm saying? Sweetness. I think that certain people have an appeal that they are so, there are certain people who introduce that to them. I think you have to be on your trajectory going up, or having that kind of success that transcends control by other people. So at the point of Dave Chappelle becoming who he was, I think he was being pressured and under the scrutiny. Like, comedians move more independently than an actor does, because an actor relies on agents, sound stages, all those different kind of assets that come into play. And so in the Will Smith situation, he either pissed somebody off, or he was becoming uncontrollable, or he made a decision that somebody didn't want him to make, and he made it. Those are the reasons why the clamps come down on those celebrities like that, and they start being in positions where what up, Savannah, where their livelihood is compromised. Cat Williams is one of the only few comedians who really comes right out and talks about him being approached and his and why he's in such why they're on him like that is because if you don't manage to follow these orders or follow the way things are going, then you're subjected to the full length of their media blitz. Listen to me. Do you know that they're up until maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, they were still talking about Will Smith and this slap? And if you look at it, it's a staged slap. Y'all ain't never seen anything as awkward as Will Smith, a grown-ass man who played Ali, who has boxing training, who knows stance, who knows rhythm, who knows all that, slap somebody so awkwardly. Exactly what would have been on the other side of that slap had he not done it. Yeah. So listen, and they made him do it on the greatest night of his career when he received his first Oscar. So understand that there's something. Well, I don't know if it's a changing of the guard, Angela. Angela said, nope, it's too many powerful people at the top, so now it's someone else's time to shine. I don't think that's completely it. I think it's a punishment. Will Smith is who he is, and this slap doesn't take away from it. And we'll see shortly, I think, in a little bit, him return back to being the poster boy. What up, Cedric? We're gonna see him return back to his success because you can't knock somebody completely down like that who's in control of theirs. He owns his own production company and he can create his own movies. He's made enough income that he's not, and we haven't heard of Will Smith splurging on stupidity. You know what I'm saying? So if he wants to re-inject his career, and I think that kind of like like Nick Cannon. I think for some of them they say it's time for you to go away for a while. Why don't you just we're gonna give you a reason to relax, Will. You've been squeaky clean for way too long. You've been successful. You've had one of the most successful runs as an actor, and you got to pay the price. And you say to yourself, you don't want to believe that most of those elites, most of those people who are at the top of the food chain are involved. I don't think that's it either. You know what I'm saying? Angela said they need someone else to make them more money because Will is labeled as a perfect guy. But notice you never really hear anything about certain people. That's right. You don't hear the conversation regarding some of those really, you guess who you don't hear stuff about? You don't hear nothing about Tom Cruise. You don't hear nothing about Tom Hanks. You don't hear anything about, you hear a little bit about the Brad Pitts. You don't hear anything. Yep. Beyonce has a defense mechanism built in with her community. It's certain ones, you know what I'm saying, that are above reproach. And you say, how and why is that? And again, some people just roll with the clique. They do what they're supposed to be doing. They stand in line with it. But I don't think I think that those are the rule makers too. I think they're at the part there. I think they're the part of the decision making process. Yep, Denzel. I think that there are a few of them that are a part of the decision making process, and they give the thumbs up for stuff like the Will Smith situation. Will Smith did it, and guess who came to his aid? The Tyler Perrys and the Denzels and all these major players that said, hey, let me have a conversation with you. That's what they purported, is that, yeah, we all spoke to Will, at the point of Will reaching the pinnacle of his career. At Will Smith having the breakthrough performance of his career, he decides to go ape shit on the night he's being celebrated. It should have rolled a red flag from everybody within the sound of my voice should have been raised and said, nah, this ain't it. And then after you saw the clip of the clip that came out previous to that, if you don't look at that, like they're showing you like, yo, it's all a game, y'all, we gonna show y'all they're pulling off the biggest magic trick while showing you what the magic trick is. And nobody has come to the defense of Will Smith saying, yo, except I heard 21 Savage say it in his song. He said, I would have popped that dude. He said he would have hit him. You know what I'm saying? He said he would have done something differently. And that's the other point. If Will Smith really wanted to make a moment, he could have knocked Chris Rock flat out on his butt. But guess what? Chris Rock was in on it too. And Chris Rock's career took a step up. Chris Rock had a tour that was not sold out that then became sold out. Chris Rock now has moved himself back into the elevated position of, he's always been a dope comedian, horrible actor, but he's in the conversation with the elite now. You know what I'm saying? He gets, embraced by his community, but in the process of that, he still ain't never really, like, if y'all look at it, there has not been any real conversation about it. MDP said, how did this affect us? I'm confused. They're still millionaires. So it's not them affecting us. It's the controlling mechanism that is affecting you, MDP. Laws were made based off of the George. This is paralleling itself into the conversation of, those people who use Black Lives Matter, who talk about George Soros and those kind of things. They created laws based off of how laws are created. They create a problem. They create this national event, and then they say we got to do something about it. But they're the ones who staged the event. You understand what I'm saying? The George Floyd situation was staged completely, and from that you got all these different laws. This dude got a whole downtown strip dedicated to him. No, Angela. So the Red Table Talk wasn't it. It was a part of it, but it wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? His Red Table Talk. Remember, they built up to the Grammys. You got to understand, if you don't prelude anything, listen, if y'all don't understand anything about marketing, let me help y'all understand, is that you just can't say, I got an album out. That's never going to work. That's never going to work. You either don't market it at all, or you market it up until the event, right? That's right. Real scenarios, but a real agenda as well. And I can't say fully real scenarios. I think that if you go to the evidence, all these scenarios have a hint of a program. You know what I'm saying? They all have a hint of, there's no way these events could have unfolded the way that they did without everybody being in on it. Like I said, when I talked about the George Floyd incident from the beginning, George Floyd presents it. I'm sure the store had a camera. You haven't seen footage of George Floyd even in the store. I want to know that. I want to know. Well, no, after the Red Fox, after the fact, yes. I think the response from the global community, I think the response from people not in that circle of the media train and the publicity is a real response. Real scenarios are created off of fake events. So those fake events have created the discourse between people who don't recognize that it's fake. People are fighting real wars and real events over fake conversation, or like Donald Trump calls it, fake news. So people are having a real response to a fake catalyst. So they did show Angela. So tell me this, Angela. They showed George Floyd going in presenting this money. I need to see that because I want to know what the reaction was. I want to know what the reaction was by the store owner when George Floyd came in and let me see. George Floyd in store surveillance. There we go. I want to see that. I really don't believe that much. I don't. Let me see some real quick. I just need to see. I don't. And nobody can prove it otherwise because you never saw the body after he got into the ambulance. You know what? What you did hear is them report that he was still alive in the ambulance. Okay, let's see. This is gonna be good. Let me see. So they show him at the corner they show him in the store looking all super duper crazy. Like just his actions and whatnot. Now, mind you, y'all know he got out of a Mercedes-Benz. I'm trying to see the dude that escorted him out that had the now he had more money than just that the amount of money he took out of his pocket. He had more money because he had to sort through it. I'm watching the video right now, and matter of fact, let me I can let the people on my YouTube see it too. Let me minimize this. So if you're on my YouTube right now, you can see it. He's standing at the counter, about to buy it. Like, he's at the counter for a really long time. Like, the exchange of time that he's standing there, he has nothing in his hand to buy. Hold on one second, MDP. He has nothing in his hand to buy. He must have been, okay, so they say he was at to make a purchase at the tobacco counter. He dancing all crazy while waiting in line. I mean, his movements, he look like a sketchy cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he come off sketchy. And he kicking it with him or whatever. Like, he is really weird in line, and I think that you would look at him like you're a weirdo, like something's going on. Like, you would see just by looking at him, something ain't right. He at the counter doing whatever he doing. Like, he dancing. He got this one bill he holding up. And he's holding it in a way that just looks weird as I don't know what. Like, he's being real obvious that he got this bill in his hand. Like, he's trying to make sure the camera sees it. He got his hands on his head, jumping around. Like this. He got his hands on his head, jumping around. He walking around. So he went to a different teller. The dude with the do-rag. He still ain't, nobody's taking his money yet. He got money in both hands. Oh man, don't pause it. They're pausing it. Hopefully they started back. They said the kid's saying he can't understand the conversation room. And then George Floyd walks out of the building. Okay, then he comes back. I guess he points at his car. They keep stopping this. I'm sorry, they keep stopping this, but if you're on my YouTube channel, you can watch it just like I'm watching it. In the tobacco section of did you in fact sell him something there? I did. Do you recall what it was that you sold? A pack of cigarettes. Saw you reach to your left. Is that where the cigarettes are? Yes. So he had already told you at that point what he wanted. Yes. You didn't have any difficulty understanding what he wanted to buy from you? No. Then did you complete that transaction? He said yes. After that, what did Mr. Floyd do? He then went back outside to his vehicle. All right, so so let's see what's up. If y'all are watching this, let me see. I can tell if anybody else is tuned in. Yeah, I see you guys are watching it. All right. Y'all see him at the far end of the store? They keep freezing it, man. I would really wish they would just play this thing through, but what is he holding up? 7:45, describe for the jurors what you were doing there. I was holding up the $20 bill that I just received. Is that something you always do or something that... No, when I saw the bill, I noticed that it had a blue pigment to it, kind of how a $100 bill would have. I found that odd. Really? So I assumed that it was fake. Oh man. Let me see if I can find another video right quick. Hold on, y'all. Because again, at no point do they say or do they identify that he has, that this was an issue. That, you know what I'm saying? This only words, and this dude held it up. Does that make sense? The policemen don't even come in and examine it when they come. Let me see if I can fast forward this, because let me see. I was planning on putting it on my tab. Hold on. Let's go back a little bit. Counterfeit bill, you have to pay for it out of your pocket. Have to pay for it out of your pocket. I took it anyways. And I was planning to just put it on my tab until I second guessed myself. Now it shows them come outside. He would not come back in the store. His manager told him to call the police. None of that adds up, man. If he was gonna put it on his tab, then he wouldn't have gotten into an argument or discussion outside of the store. All these people that were standing out there watching stayed in their position. That's just crazy to me. That's why, you know what I'm saying? When I look at stuff like that, I got to examine it and break it all the way down. And that don't make sense. None of that exchange makes sense. I hope y'all enjoy looking at that, because, we're going to have to examine stuff like that together, to help everybody get a good grasp on the nonsense that they're trying to feed. None of that makes sense. He already was up in there. What up, Alexis? You should look up The Greatest Lie Ever Told, Doc. We already live in that. All right, Zena, I appreciate you hanging out. I'm with you. I do believe they create fake stories or their agenda, but not George, bro. All right, okay, so MDP. None of that looks staged to you? The fact that they took him out, no police car, they took him out of his car at gunpoint for a person that was not carrying a firearm. Walk him over to the SUV, put him in the SUV, and then don't close the doors. They take him out of it. Floyd and the officer used to be bouncers at the same nightclub and became alleged rivals. It don't get any stupider than that. Yeah, Ara, that don't make no sense. Put it on your tab, but then you tell your manager, come on, man. Like the double talk, all that stuff matters, man. If y'all are really paying attention, you can't say this kid is saying one thing and then retracting his initial. Yeah, come on, man. He would have OD'd anyways. True story, but that's the whole point that Kanye West is saying. Like, it's like, yo, we're making a hero out of this. What normally most people would call is a zero. I'm sorry. Nothing heroic about what George Floyd did. Nothing heroic about the presentation of George Floyd. Yet he got a hero's welcome in death, in his supposed death. I'm from the belief that he sat there and watched his own funerals. I'm sorry. He watched his own funerals. I don't care what nobody say. He watched his own funerals. No way he took the L. Let me see. So, yeah, that something happens in every season, all four of them. And they do it. So what was the purpose of the fake death, though? It ultimately, galvanizing the people, MDP, how do you have this situation in the middle of COVID where nobody was masked up? They were trying to use it as a tool to show that there was going to be an outbreak, a bigger outbreak, which that didn't happen. They needed an event in the middle of all this campaigning. They needed something major to distract us, which I'm sure there were a lot of things that happened. If I recall, there were a lot of things that got pushed through the pipeline while we were looking over here to the right. The left hand was doing a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. I think that the reason to start riots and division and try to start martial law is what I believe that was a big part of it as well. It's control, right? You got to know what you can do and who you can do it to and to what extent. So when if our response to this guy was supposed to be this outrage, which the outrage didn't come from us, man. Like, the outrage didn't come from us initially. It was like, damn, did y'all see that? In the midst of all the other things that had just come down the pipeline. Because, listen, white people don't believe that kind of stuff exists anyway, MDP. Like, honestly, think about it. White people aren't on the side of oppression. So you got two ants. You got the ant that's going along and chilling and everything's dandy, and then you got then you have the red ant, the fire ant, that if you tap that red ant, it's gonna light everybody up. It's gonna blow the whole thing up. What up, J-Lac Tracks? It's gonna blow everything out of proportion. So which one do you do, especially when everybody's kind of chilling at this point? I mean, it was senseless on every level. And I don't even know if we really know exactly all the pieces to doing this. A, I don't believe they took somebody's life to do it. B, I think it was another false flag just to see what would happen. Yeah, I think that what's it called? Event 21 or something like that. A lot of these things are scripted as to see what our response would be. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of it is for us to, not for us. It's never for us. And it puts us on our heels, man. And causes more division. Like, it looked like we was all together doing this George Floyd thing, but as you saw, speaking to Angela's point, they had people who were pretending to be a part of the solution who were actually part of the problem. There were people that were inserted into the mix to seem as though they were rocking with other people, but they were actually undermining the people. There are all kinds of, I'm sure there's way more. Yeah, it's a game of chess, right? And they play it differently at that George Soros level. Hey, watch what I can do to your presidency. Watch what I can do to throw things off track. You know what I'm saying? You understand, like, rich people play, stupid games and they win stupid prizes. But that's, y'all know that at that level of influence, they do that. No, it isn't, and that should have been the change. But here's the conversation about defunding the police, all that stuff is stupid to me. Nothing has changed, MDP. I agree with you there, unfortunately, and they've created some laws based on it, but nothing has changed. And the reason why is because we're asking the people who are doing the inflicting of pain to admonish themselves. There was a saying that they used to say in the 60s that should be in everybody's vocabulary, but it should be an actionable item for everybody. That was called, it said, power to the people. What up, Sean? Power to the people. Why? Because the people have the power. And if we're not together, which the George Floyd thing separated people. It didn't bring everybody together. It drew the line real deep and hard down the middle across the world. Across the world, it didn't bring people together. So in the division, they can move things around, because if everybody wanted the same goal and decided there's nothing you can do about it, you got to remember, listen, they introduced this before they introduced the 2021 solution to COVID, supposed solution. So look how you have people then. You got the lines divided. Now let's what up, Everett? Now that the lines are divided, let's go ahead and throw something in the mix now. Let's yep. I like that movie too. All the movies tell a lot. They all got something in them, you know what I'm saying, that kind of, lends its hand to something. But y'all do know that this is prior to 2021 coming in, and they needed to distract you and then get you involved. Remember, it was a fearful campaign in the beginning. In the beginning, it was a fearful campaign. That's I'm gonna leave it at that. In the beginning of 2020 and throughout going through, y'all do remember that COVID was on the downstroke. There wasn't a lot of how it did. But that was a part of it too, Angela. They gave you the Ebola scare. They gave you the murder hornet scare. They gave you the alternate universe scare. They gave you UFOs and aliens, so much so that we formed a space force. So understand that they did all that during the Zika. They're still doing it, but the problem is, to do it any harder than they did it before, they'd be completely exploiting themselves, because the best thing they ever did was told you that this extended flu, or this more powerful flu, has no cure, and you don't know if you got it or not. That was the biggest thing. And in 2021, and y'all heard me say this to y'all like during this past week as well. I just told y'all, everyone on here is a survivor. Whether you got, in 2020, you all survived. 2020, you all survived. Like that. That was my conversation throughout 2020. Is like, there's nothing that they could tell me that I need to do in 2021, because I survived 2020. Whether you caught it and recovered, whether you didn't catch it at all, whatever you did, you survived 2020. And that's where I tell you, they preyed on your short-term memory and made you forget that your grandmama them stood for something, that the recipes that your mama had gave you that when they was raising you to make you well all this time, for all those things that they were doing, they had done this all your life, and you have been fine. You have been sick as a dog before, but you passed it. Exactly. And that's dope, Angela. You know what I'm saying? But that's the point I'm trying to make everybody understand, is that 2021 and the agenda was unnecessary. 2020 will have done everything that it was supposed to have done. Even when you got the information to change the situation, they had already implemented that you're not going to listen to somebody, no matter who it is, you're not going to listen to somebody tell you the truth. They put the same guy up front. Now, whose name don't y'all hear anymore? And if you do, it's so far in the background, but it's crazy. Who? Yeah, but she survived it. Red, you hear what I'm saying? Went through it, but survived. Beautifully broken. I almost lost my life this year ago, but I did survive. My sister. Oh, I'm 1 month. My sister passed. I'm sorry to hear that. Yep. MDP, and here's the part. MDP. A lot of people have that. Well, what MDP is calling vaccine regret. And it's challenging. They really hurt America with this one. Why? Because they forced people who would otherwise make another decision. They forced them into this, and I feel bad. in that regard. Like that's the part that for me is the most disheartening, is that they I told y'all the three ways they did it. First, they tried the scare tactics that did not work, which was all those things I named before. They tried scare tactics. And here's the thing, the scare tactics were falling on mute ears because, listen, there was nothing that could be done in 2020. There was no solution other than treat it like the flu. If y'all ever looked on the CDC website when it first came out, it said treat it like the flu. They identified what it was. It was a stronger version of the flu. And then it was, most people who passed had 3 to 4 core morbidities. And some people didn't know that they had these problems. So we lost people who had no idea that they had these underlying issues, or were not taking their asthma as something that would be affected, not taking that the diabetes, or taking being overweight and all these different things as leads into a compromised challenge with it. But they also, one thing that people don't take into consideration is that more people died in the hospital than died outside of the hospital. And I know y'all say, what does that mean? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And the evidence of that, MDP, was African nations weren't hit like that. Caribbean nations weren't hit like that. You know, places and where people of color were, in warmer climates didn't get affected like that. But they strong-armed us into, they strong-armed the community. Listen to this, man. Nobody has to force you to do something if it's good for you. That's what I was going to ask you, Broken. I agree. I think the hospital did something to do with her passing as soon as they intubated her. Yep. Okay. So, so let me help you understand something. Intubation, if y'all don't know what it was, I when it started happening in New York, I knew what it was. I said the doctors are killing people, and nobody wanted to hear that. Nobody wanted to hear me say that. Yo, the doctors are assisting these people. And New York was at the front lines of it because they wanted to exploit the fact that they were hospitalizing so many people, and then they were putting them in these trailers to haul them off. But I said, well, why, for a respiratory disease, would you stop the respiratory process? Do any of y'all know exactly what happens with intubation? They sedate you. So now you're aloof.